Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Leadership Satsang session. I'm your leadership coach, Yukti Mehndiratta. Thank you so much for joining in this week and every week. My apologies for a slight delay. It's sometimes a little bit of a ripple effect of the sessions that I have before now. So I'm right here and here not just to talk about leadership, but to really share a secret tool that can help us to become more effective leaders. And unfortunately, this is still a secret. Why? Because we've not quite understood the power of this tool. And that's what I will be sharing with you. Before that, we need to bring ourselves into this moment completely, as we always do. So, how do we do that? By chanting Om together. Om is a universal chant. It has no religious connotation. It is not limited to any religion. When we create those vibrations with this beautiful chant, we're able to align our energy chakras inside the body, the 7 chakras that keeps our the energy floating within us and around us. So to be able to create that alignment, we use this chant Om. I would like you to do this with me 5 times for now, and if possible in your own space for 10 times, 10 minutes, as much as you can. Make this as one of your spiritual practices and you will see the benefit of it, right? So for now, may I request you all to please keep your spine straight. Keep the glasses aside if you want. Relax your shoulders. Take a nice deep breath in and out. Let's just forget about everything else and everyone else. And let us take this slot, these 30 minutes of satsang session as your me time. Because you deserve it, because you need it. And when you give yourself this time, you're able to do so much more in so many better ways, right? So let us indulge in this me time by connecting with the self, the spirit, and we do that using our breath. May I invite you to please close your eyes. If you're sitting on a chair, see if you can place your feet firmly on the ground. Take a nice deep breath in and breathe out. We will chant Om 5 times and I will keep the count for you. Take another deep, beautiful breath in and out. Let's bring your attention to the center of your forehead, right in the middle of your eyebrows. Can you just focus on that and take another beautiful breath in as you do so. Bring your attention to the center of your forehead and breathe out. And with the next breath in, let's chant Om together. Let's breathe in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And whenever you're ready, please rub your palms together, gently placing them on your eyes, face, ears, and neck, and your entire body, and slowly come back. And as you do that, please let me know if you're 100% here. So please say 100% in the chat, and also let me know which part of the world are you at right now. Where are you joining me from today? Welcome, Suresh, Neela, Chida, so good to have you here, Arun. Helen, welcome, Hoishi, welcome, Indiran. Thank you for joining in. Thank you so much. Please make your presence felt. Let's warm up the comments. Let's hear from everybody. Arun is here 100%. Are you all here 100%? Because only if you hear 100% will you take 100% of what I want to share. And what I want to share is really, really important, very important for us to understand so that it doesn't remain a secret. I don't want this to be a secret anymore. It has to be known to all. It has to be understood by all the leaders out there so that they can become more effective in their ability to lead. And that effectiveness, bringing in that effectiveness, is your sole responsibility. Because leadership in itself is a responsibility. Responsibility to get the most from people, to explore and not just exploit their potential. To be able to do that, we need to first explore our own selves and find not just the courage, but also clarity and method to indulge in self-discovery. The secret tool that helps us to be more effective, that every top leader uses in some way or another to stay ahead, is nothing but spiritual leadership. Understanding how to bring in spirituality and the essence of spirituality in the way you lead. And this is what is least understood by all. Why? Because there are all sorts of crazy interpretations of spirituality. Crazy. And why I call that crazy is because sometimes it's baseless. Sometimes it is so biased and limited to a personal interpretation that we do not hesitate to even put it out in a more generalized manner. And that then starts becoming information for people, information that they live by, making that as their belief, their own understanding. You know what I'm saying? This is a classic impact of group thinking. We've got to understand what kind of group are we a part of? What kind of proximity have we developed around ourselves? We should always look at whatever information comes to us and see what is the merit in that? What is the credibility? What is the base? What is the essence, the depth of the information that you are consuming? And if you look at it closely, you will realize that a lot of things that you have come to understand the way you have needs to be questioned, starting with the meaning of spirituality. You know, last week we talked about servant leadership, right? And we realized that servant leadership is not becoming a servant to people you lead. It's about serving people with your leadership abilities. Now, to be able to become a servant leader, you have to first understand yourself. So spiritual leadership is a step that comes before you're able to become a servant leader. Because this leader who intends to serve others needs to understand himself or herself first. And let me tell you this, we don't have a deep understanding of who we are. We don't know what are the gaps that exist beyond some technical SWOT analysis that you would have done. At best, a lot of us don't bother doing that either because we think it's too technical and what's about SWOT? I know my strengths. Really, there is a way to do SWOT, first of all. And if you've learned the right method to do it, that's not the only thing to be done in this journey of self-discovery. In fact, self-discovery as a journey has no destination. There is no end to how much you can discover about yourself. Do you agree? Let's agree in the comments, please, if you agree. There is absolutely no end to how much you can understand yourself. But there has to be a beginning. There has to be a start of how will I understand myself in a more structured manner. How can I bring in more depth in knowing who is this person I call as I? It is not something that I need to keep aside when I have nothing better to do. It is something that I need to indulge in. I need to go deeper with as of yesterday. As of yesterday. And people who've walked this path with me, by the way, who've indulged in self-discovery through the structure that I have been able to present to them, each one of them have one thing to say. And that is, I wish I had known this earlier. Some of you right now who joined me live are already on this path of spiritual leadership with me. If this is true for you, and it has been your experience as well, as you walk this path, you said, Yukti, oh my God, why didn't I learn this earlier? If that is who you are and how you feel as well, then say me too in the comments, please. Because we have a lot of people here, Indiran, Suresh, Arun, all of them, Chida, all of them are walking this path of self-discovery we call as spiritual leadership. And when we go through this journey, you know what happens? We want to offer this to our children. We want them to learn it much faster, much earlier in life, and not waste all the years that you and I have wasted not knowing ourselves and trying to figure out the rest of the world. Because you can't. If you don't understand who is this person trying to figure out other people, this I, this me, I need to understand this person first. So let me today talk about spiritual leadership, starting with what spirituality means and what it does not mean. How many of you would like to learn that? Give me a BIO in the chat. Let me see if you really want me to bring this on. Do you want me to bring it on? Give me BIO. Yeah, Sanjay, Helen, do you think you would like to learn a little more about what spirituality is and what it is not? Because that's an important learning. That's a very important learning, right? What spirituality is not. Thank you. Thank you. Prashant, good to have you here. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. And thank you for bringing in this hunger to learn every single time we meet. And that's what motivates me to keep bringing up more and more relevant insights for you all. So let's just look at what spirituality is not first. Now, whenever anyone talks to you about spirituality in these three ways, I want you to just run away from that place, from those people. And that's why I'm using the acronym RUN to help you remember what spirituality is not. And you've got to run away from such people, such conversations when they bring it up. When people connect spirituality to religion, don't bother explaining, because many of them are not keen to learn. They're not keen to be questioned. They just understand spirituality as another name for religion, and it is not. And you can't probably blame them, because those who claim to be spiritual and talk about spirituality are usually, they carry a certain look, they have a certain ideology, and they have their own religious beliefs that they attach and present to everybody in the name of spirituality. I want you all as leaders to use your critical thinking ability and distinguish the two. Religion has its own place and spirituality has its own place. They are not the same. If anybody tells you that spirituality and all of this blah blah is not realistic, it sounds very utopian, it sounds very philanthropic, it's a good thing to do, but आजकल के ज़माने में ये सब नहीं चलता है. In today's world, you can't be all goody and nice and worry about people. People will eat you raw. That's the world we are in, as if you're still living in a jungle. That's how people live their life, on tenterhooks at all times, as if somebody is attacking them at all times, even if they're not. And that's the reason why our stress levels are off the roof. We are more stressed than we were when we used to live in a jungle, when we didn't know where the next wild animal will come from, where it was survival of the fittest. Even then, humans did not experience the level of stress we are experiencing today, when we are under no such threat. Most of these threats are self-created. But we've learned to live with that. We are learning from each other how to deal with this stress. We are not understanding where is this stress coming from. You know what spirituality does for you? It helps you to calm your nerves in the real sense. It is more real than your fears. It is more real than the biases that you have created in your life. That's how realistic spirituality is. So if somebody tells you spirituality and all this stuff is unreal, it's not realistic, please stay away from such discussions, because it has no substance, it has no merit. And when somebody tells you, you know what, you don't have to do all this right now, not now, right? This is not the time. You talk about spirituality and all of this when you have retired. This is a post-retirement learning. Well, as I said a while back, it should be learned as soon as possible. If I could, I would bring this into school curriculum. Teach children from the time they start learning a language, they need to start learning about themselves, which is not limited to what their parents think they are, what their teachers think they are. They need to develop their own understanding of who am I. And it is not a question that can be parked for post-retirement, because by then it's already too late. Too late. Too late to understand yourself and live the life that you could have lived if you had bothered to connect with yourself much before. So this is not what spirituality means. It's not religion. It is not unrealistic. It is not something that can be pushed for later. It needs to be done as of yesterday. Are you with me? Let's have with you in the comments, please. Are you understanding the importance of what spirituality can bring to the table? It doesn't teach you how to deal with stress. It teaches you how to learn to live without it, how to stop creating more stress for yourself. That's what spirituality can teach you. So what is spirituality? It is the reality of your spirit. It is the reality of yourself, your only reality. That is spirituality, the ability to connect with yourself. The I, the me, the you that you think you are. And that is on these three pillars. It rests on three pillars. These are the three pillars of spirituality. And as you work on these three pillars, you develop the ability to connect with your spirit, your self, your core, that God that resides within you, or whatever you may want to call this life force, which brings in action everything that you see in and around you. That life force, that energy within you, that spirit, that is what we need to connect ourselves with before we run helter-skelter trying to figure out how to develop connections with other people. Have you developed connection with yourself first? How well do you know yourself that you want people to know you first? People have to understand me. People should know me. And that's the expectation we have in all our relationships, isn't it? Isn't it true? Let's have true in the comments, please. If you think that's true, that, yeah, you know what? I'm very disappointed that my husband doesn't understand me too well, that my wife doesn't know me still after living with me for all these years. These people, they just don't get me. And to that, my question is, how well do you get yourself? How well do you understand yourself? Do you even think it's important? And if you don't, then why should anybody else bother to figure you out if you are not interested to figure yourself out first? Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. It's very, very important. Forget servant leadership, okay? Forget everything I told you last week. If you're not first willing to connect with your own reality, your own spirit, then servant leadership and all of that is good stuff to talk about. But I'm sorry to say you're not quite ready for it, because you don't know who is this you who will eventually serve people with your leadership abilities. That you has to be discovered. That self-discovery needs to be taken up right now in this moment. And I'm going to give you a kickstart for that by helping you understand the three pillars that you need to bring into practice, only if you want to learn. And if you do, then maybe this is another time for you to say BIO. Let me see how many of you are here 100% with me. Though I have no doubt that you are, but let's have BIO in the comments, please. Which means bring it on. Yukti, please tell me what are the three pillars, because I don't just want to tell you. I want you to commit that you are going to bring this into practice. So how about saying I commit in the comments? I think that would be a real good motivator for me to bring on the three pillars, which I consider as the pillars of spirituality. Yeah, thank you, Indiran. Arun, thank you. Ritesh, thank you so much for joining in. Okay, if you all insist and I should bring it on, then let me do so. Let me bring in the three pillars, and these three require time, effort, and energy from your end to bring into life. So you've got to plan how to do that. The first pillar of spirituality is Satsang. Satsang as a word is derived from two words, Sat and Sangh. Sat means purity or truth. Sangh is the group or association that you have around you, that you are a part of. Satsang, group or company of pure, truthful, honest people. People who want to improve themselves. People who want to figure themselves out. People who want to become a better version of who they are. If that is the company you keep, if that is the Sangh that you have, the Sat Sangh that you're a part of, you will automatically become a better person. You will automatically realize more things about yourself, more and deeper understanding of your own reality. Satsang is also understood as the power of proximity. That's how we put it in today's jargon. Power of proximity, which means what kind of people you spend your time with. I'm sure you've heard the fact that we are the average of 5 people we spend most of our time with. This is outside of family members, of course. Who are the kind of people you choose to be with? Are these people someone you want to use at some point in your life? Or are these people you look up to for the qualities they have that you want in yourself? Because that would be a good reason to spend time with someone. If you admire a few qualities about these people and you want to bring that into your life, look very closely at the kind of company you keep. Most of us spend 10 hours, 12 hours in the same office with the same team every day. And what do? We bitch about each other. We gossip about each other. That's what we do every day. Every day. And when I talk about networking, what comes to people's mind is finding another job. If I'm not looking for another job, what's the point networking? I don't need to network right now. I don't have time. You never have time. You make time. And you must make time to network. And networking has got nothing to do with your next job or another client for your business. Networking is a way for you to extend and expand your own learning. Learning about not just different skills, but also learning about your own self. So here it is, an action point that I want to give you all. How are you going to be a part of a satsang? There is a reason why I call this platform Leadership Satsang. It is satsang. It is sat ka sang. We are talking real truth here. We're talking real stuff here. Do you agree? Give me agree in the chat. Today is our 90th episode. And in these 90 episodes, I have done my bit to bring to you some hard realities of life and leadership. And the company I keep here, the company of you all, is a company I wish to keep. Company of lifelong learners who show up here every single week. Not because you haven't achieved much, but because you have. And you know that that makes you even more responsible to be a better version of yourself. That's why you're here. And if this is not satsang, then what is? This is leadership satsang. And I'm very happy and proud to have this platform that I share with you all. And you're the ones who really make this into a satsang with your participation and your company here every single week. You've got to be a part of more such groups, more communities where you can find yourself, learn more about yourself. That's the first pillar of spirituality. The second pillar is sadhana. Sadhana comes from the word sadhu. Sadhu is about going straight to a goal. Sadhana, right? It's a Hindi word which says focusing on the goal, going straight onto what matters. When you are in sadhana, you keep your focus on what truly matters and learn to make that focus laser sharp. So one way of doing that is meditation or sitting in silence or Zen walk or Zen cooking. Okay, what is Zen cooking? Being in the moment when you're cooking, being in the moment when you're walking. Can you experience your walk instead of just counting the number of steps you have taken? Can you feel the movement of your feet and every muscle that helps you to take the next step? That is Zen walk. That's Zen living. We've got to bring in these spiritual practices in our day-to-day life. There is no big deal in sitting in silence for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yes, you will have thoughts. Yes, your mind will take you everywhere. But you're realizing that, and awareness is the first step towards improvement. I've always said that, right? You're aware that, okay, you know what? I'm not here right now. I'm going to bring myself here again and again and again. In 5 minutes, I have to do it 50 times. In the next 50 days of my practice, I probably need to do it just 5 times in 5 minutes. It's a process. It's a journey. But if you don't make a start, you don't make progress. It's as simple as that. Make sense? Let's have make sense in the comments, please. Does that make sense? Like without starting, you can't say, oh, you know what? This doesn't work for me. I can't do it. It's not my thing. You've got to first try and try enough to know that this is not how it works for you. Then we find another way. And there are many ways. Anything that makes you lose sense of time and space is meditative. It could be music. Just put a blindfold, close your eyes, dance. Dance to the music you love. And that's also meditation. Anything that helps you to practice being in the moment is sadhana. And you've got to create an action point here again. What is that something which you will bring within your 24 hours? Because the news is here, good or bad, you're not getting a 25th hour. Like people can put TED Talks out on that and write books on that. But the fact is, they're teaching you how to get more from your 24 hours because 24 hours is all we have. Now, what we really need to do with this 24 hours is what we want to do. And if we're clear about what we want to do, we make time for it. Okay, so let's just stop making this excuse of, oh my God, I'm so busy, I don't get time. Because if you're not getting time, then you need to figure out who's going to give it to you. And guess what? No one will, because no one can. You have to make time for your priorities. And I would like you to add these 3 pillars to your priorities so that you can really, in the real sense, start bringing spirituality in the way you lead, not just other people, but the way you lead your own life. You've got to bring spirituality in, the essence of spirituality in the way you live. And then you see the quality of your life. Then you see the quality of everything you do, including the way you lead people. The third pillar is Sadachar. What is Sadachar? Sada is good and Achar is conduct. Good conduct is Sadachar. Good behavior. And what is good? Something that can help other people. Something that at least doesn't harm anyone else while I work towards my own good. And it's also called as ecology check, right? I can be on my own path of prosperity and wealth, but if it includes walking over other people, then I'm failing on my ecology check. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I need to look out for my good. I get it. Absolutely. There is no harm in that, but not at the cost of someone else. So a good conduct is when you are good and more humane as a human, more considerate, more empathetic towards other people, more inclusive, more respectful towards other people, more willing to give and not just get from other people, more willing to add value to them instead of just using them for your own benefit. And this good conduct is not limited to people who are important to you. It's for every single person who comes in contact with you, anywhere and everywhere, because that's who you are, or that's who you wish to become. And so you need to keep a check on how you are and the way you behave with anyone and everyone, whatever profile, background, social strata they come from. How do you choose to behave with them? Even when you're not feeling so good, how do you choose to behave with them? Do you throw yourself in your tantrums on people's face in the name of love and friendship or authority? Because I do. And a lot of us do that, by the way, right? Even though we might not want to admit. And the reason why we don't want to admit is because we probably are unaware. We are in denial. We're in denial of who we are. We think we are this person, but our behavior does not reflect that thought sometimes. We have this very good intention, but our actions sometimes don't reflect that intention. This disconnect needs to be bridged. This gap needs to be bridged. And this happens when we indulge in self-discovery, when we bring in the courage to understand the reality of our spirit, when we bring into action Satsang, Sadhana, and Sadachar. On that note, we conclude today's satsang session, and I hope you found value in this. And I would know that you did if you share your action plan with me in the comments. Let's do some work together, right? That's more fun. That's what excites me. When I see you moving a little bit in that direction of becoming a version 2.0 of yourself. And no matter how good you are, and you are, I absolutely give that to you. But is there another version that you can attain for yourself? I hear a big yes. And if that's your answer, then let's have a plan towards it. I would love to see your plan. So please do share in the comments. Do share if you found this to be useful. And what are you going to do to become a spiritual leader? With that, I take your leave for now. I will meet you next week with another important insight in the space of leadership and spirituality. Till then, please take very good care of yourself. Thank you so much for listening to me. God bless you all.